Hey guys, I wanted to do a quick video and demonstrate some oxalic acid treatments. So I'm about 3 years into my beekeeping journey, and is one of the things that I noticed that there wasn't a lot of information on. I wasn't sure you could find a lot of information on Mite quick strips or Formic Pro or some additional treatments, but oxalic acid I didn't find that much. So I wanted to do just like a quick run through of the equipment I use and just kind of show how easy it is. It is late October, almost November, and it's gray and chilly. We're about 45 degrees, and the good news is the oxalic acid does not have a temperature dependency. And so it's something that's very, you don't need to check. It's sort of like a surefire way of killing off the phoretic mites. This late in the year, we typically don't find any brood, and so any of the phoretic mites, or the mites that are actually attached to the bees, will get impacted by this. So real quick, this is what I use. So this is the oxalic acid vaporizer. I actually did get this. It's the Varamus oxalic acid vaporizer. It comes with a couple of clips. You can connect it to a battery. It takes about a couple of minutes to heat up, but I've found that it's a really good tool. You could find it on Amazon. It's about $60. Some are in the in 100 plus, but I found that this worked for me. Second is the oxalic acid substance itself. And this is actually pretty great. It's about $15, right? And it is multi-use. I do use it solely for bees, but it is a natural component, right? You actually find oxalic acid in a lot of the vegetables and plants, right? So it does state specifically, right, some buckwheat and rhubarb. So it is a naturally forming substance. But it is toxic, right? So you want to handle this with care. So disclosure, right? Gloves and a mask. You do not want this vapor to get into your lungs or into your eyes. So what I normally do is I just typically will apply it, put it into the hive, let it run for after a couple minutes. I'll turn it off, and then I'll walk away, because I really don't need to take a look at the vapor. I know it's there. I'll leave it for about 8 minutes afterwards, just to kind of permeate through, and then I will take it out of the hive. So let's get cracking, all right? So switching to hand mode here, one of the things I wanted to show, right, so we're going to demonstrate this on the nuke box here, but on a day like today, being that it's super gray and all the leaves are coming down, the cluster is actually typically right around in the center, right? So we're starting to get into the 30s at nighttime. So we sealed off. This is a screen bottom board, so we sealed it off, and that's also important here because you want to make sure that there's no way for the vapor to escape. So you want to seal off all the entrances and make sure that they're also all in there, right? So you wouldn't do this during when they may be foraging, or right, it's typically early morning or late night. So a couple of things that are important here as well. One of the things I found that was really cool is on Blythewood Bee Company, and I'll list all the materials and equipment on the description. They have a rechargeable battery. It's actually very small and compact, but it does the job. We went ahead and put the oxalic acid in the vaporizer. We have a towel to seal off the entrance, and this is going to be pretty much the extent of the setup. So not a lot of heavy lifting, and to get the job done. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and plug it in. We'll put the rod into the hive and seal it up, and then give it a couple minutes to vaporize, and simply walk away from that standpoint. So now the rod is in, and we plugged it into the battery. We simply give it a 2-minute countdown. Once the vapor is heated, the edge of the rod will superheat, create the vapor, and I'll unplug it and leave it in for about 8 minutes. So we'll come back right at the end. So it's been about 8 minutes. Fortunately, we could see there's only really one bee out. Again, to that point, we don't want it to be during a day when they're foraging, because we want to make sure that the phoretic mites are being tackled and the foragers are all in. The good news is this is a screen bottom board. For the solid bottom boards, it's a bit difficult to see the difference, but I would say probably in about a couple of hours I could probably pull the screen out and see how many of the mites, and count the mite fall or take a look at the mite fall. But this is pretty much the extent of it. The rod is cool. If you're doing multiple hives, a lot of people dip the rod in water to give it a quick chill and to kind of get back into the next hive right away. I don't have that many hive right now, so I have the luxury of just kind of letting it relax, go grab a cup of coffee, let it naturally cool off, and then and then just kind of call it a day and know that I took care of it. So, and the next treatment I will probably do in late November, which should pretty much seal it up and get them ready for the rest of the winter. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope you found this helpful.